watching this or 2 solo queue games, I can promise you, you're gonna learn so much more than even playing 100 games. I can promise you this. Let's go. I'll be explaining you guys basically all the fundamentals. Honestly, even if you're high elo, it doesn't matter. You'll still learn some stuff. I'm actually the only player that got rank 1 and 2 in history. I mean, basically, I got like rank 1 like 5 times or something. I've been challenger every single season. First thing we're going to be talking about, which is mentality. So, I mean, guys, I've been there as well, guys. So, a little story about myself. I was hardstuck in silver 1 for 3 months, okay? For 3 months. So then a friend of mine told me, hey, what comes after diamond? And he told me, you don't have to know. So he told me, you don't have to know what comes after diamond. So that actually motivated me. Instead, I focused on myself and thought, what could I actually do better? And in the next 3 months, from silver, I managed to hit challenger. From silver to challenger in 3 months. And that's only because I changed my mentality from, it's all my teammates' fault, to my own mistakes, you know? Let's talk about actually map movement and decision making. Because I think if you're a jungler, okay, map movement and decision making, it's probably the most broken thing as a jungler, that you can do so many things and you can impact everyone's lane, okay? Let's pay attention. I mean, I can actually just, yeah, we'll see. So he's taking a blue buff here, okay? This is nothing too crazy. He takes a blue buff. So just to give you guys full context, he has Divine Sunder, he's quite strong. He has ultimate right now. So enemy has, let's say, a Kalista mid lane, he pings mid lane. But I'm gonna show like another thing here, okay? There's nothing too crazy, he just ults this guy, one-shots him. But right now he got a kill. So if you want to learn macro in general or think about how to move around the map and when to base, I would highly suggest you to like watch people, pause and think, okay, all my top side camps are up, I have 700 gold, I don't really have any item. What would I do here? Of course, he doesn't press tab, but so you can't see who's actually win condition. But essentially, you have to visualize what you would do and then think what he's doing. So I'll just give you an example. What would I do here? I'll probably just go to my top side camps and clear them, and then I'll try to play for the next objective, which is probably a Grubs Herald, because I'm strong, okay? So let's see what he does. Now he's queuing towards the bot side. Now, why the hell is he doing this? So let's keep watching further, okay? So he actually is now going to the top side. But do you see what he's doing right now? Basically what he did, he was like trying to give them fake information here, because the last thing they see is that he walks into bot side. So now he's walking top side. So now you can be like, ah, okay, he must be doing this because he's trying to like make enemy think that he's going towards the bot side. But instead, okay, let's say you are just watching this. You would just be like, oh, after this play, he's probably gonna go to the top side. You're not actually trying to understand why he's doing something. So if you want to learn macro, and this is how I've learned macro in pro play, I just pause the video. I think, okay, how would I move around the map? And then I compare and see where we differ, okay? This is something about just how to learn, okay? How to learn from the best. So let's go to the next topic. Very often, I've got this question whether you should full clear or gank, because I get usually the Ogre example that he full clears very often, and then there's some junglers in LPL, LCK that actually gank a lot. So I've written down a few things here, and it really depends per team comp. It really depends on whether you can get a free kill or not. But essentially it comes down, well, as well, whether you outscale or not. Because believe it or not, if you have, let's say, kill top lane, a smolder in a carry, if you can just cover dives, make sure your lanes can crash their waves, you don't even have to gank to win the game. And people have like HDHD, sometimes you outscale and they see a potential kill, but I'm not even kidding, sometimes just basing, covering, is legit better than making a play. And why is that? So, first of all, before that, let's actually talk about this one.
Hello.
Because in this video, I talk a bit about the jungle identities of the champions, because League of Legends is like this, okay? On not one single jungle champion, you go for a gank unless there's a free kill. In solo queue. In pro play, like I think sometimes getting a flash, doing a drive-by, farming till 6, killing mid lane is good. But why is it good in pro play, but not good in solo queue? In pro play, everyone will play safe, you know? And there's probably nothing happening because laners aren't stupid. At the highest level, people will play safe. So forcing flash and then farming, enemy cannot use that tempo advantage. But in solo queue, if you go for a gank and that doesn't work, and your laners are now starting to play like monkeys, which always happens, now, guess what happens? You're not ready to counter gank, you're not ready to help the slow push, and you might potentially miss out on a free kill because another laner of enemy entered. That's why in solo queue, you almost never want to gank unless it's a free kill, even with Rek'Sai and Elise. These type of champions, you have a higher chance of getting kills, but that doesn't mean that you have to gank. Like, whenever I coach Elise or Rek'Sai players, they're like, oh, but I have to gank now. That is wrong. With these champions, you have a higher chance of succeeding your ganks, but does it mean you have to gank? No. And why is that? Because there's always going to be opportunities. You should not feel forced. I'm not even kidding. You can look at your own UpGG and look at how many kills and deaths there are every single game, and I can promise you, 15 or 13 out of 20 is legit more than 1 kill per minute. I am not kidding here. Just look at your own games. There's legit more than 1 kill per minute. I've looked at it, even the Challenger, even the low elo. There's so many kills, okay? And why did I write can't gank, but ideally farm? Because these champions have really good scaling, and they don't actually have to gank to win the game. Zac, for example, by simply farming, he's actually very strong. Karthus, simply farming, he's very strong. Like, I'm not even kidding, unless you're like 100% sure you get a kill, you don't have to take any risk with these champions. But let's say Rek'Sai, there's like an 80 to 90% chance you get a kill. I think you should take it, because this champ gets outskilled. Does it make sense? But always go for the kill. So this is about a bit about champion identity, okay? Like, to make sure you guys know about Fullclear or gank, so you guys get the idea. I will now show you guys an example. It's a Fiddlesticks, it's someone I've coached, and I can show what he did, okay? He took 3 camps, and he went for a mid lane gank here. But right here, I'm not even kidding here. If Yasuo, let's say, is not boosted, and he flashes, he's gonna survive. I think everyone gets that. However, let's say he gets the kill here, okay? Let's say he gets the kill here. As long as kill can farm, it's completely fine. As long as kill can farm, nothing's gonna happen. And as long as enemy cannot get kills, you're being chilling. And I'll show you the consequences of this gank, okay? So I'll do now to pay attention to top lane, okay? So I'll show you now. So you see top lane, this wave actually crashed in the tower, which means that it's gonna be slow pushing towards the enemy team, which means that Garen is vulnerable, okay? So now, because Fiddlesticks ganked mid lane, and top lane slow pushes towards enemy, if enemy jungler just full clear towards top side, at some point a Garen wave is gonna be bad, right? So what can Fiddlesticks do now? Nothing. And essentially this game, if he just full clears and covers laners, there's no way he's gonna lose the game. He has kill and smolder. Here as well, of course, good jungle tracking, he pinged careful, but in the end, you saw how he pinged here. I can promise you, these pings, it does not matter. Because have you guys ever seen a Garen here, if it's a slow push towards enemy, playing safe for 15 seconds? I have not. Like, when a wave is slow pushing towards enemy team, even if they know enemy junglers coming, I can promise you, even in pro play, they will walk up for the wave. And I'll show you some examples soon, okay? And this is why sometimes people are telling me, but Kirei, I'm paying him to play safe. Why is he dying? It's because the wave is bad, and if he plays safe, he loses farm, and he doesn't want to lose farm. And now, look at top lane. He now died. So around 4 minutes, could Fiddlesticks have been here? Yes, he could have, if he didn't look for that gank. So this is the consequence of simply ganking. And in pro play, this wouldn't happen, because Garen would manage his wave properly, and he will be fine. In solo queue, let's look at this game, how many kills there are. There's 20 kills at 16 minutes. Do you see now why I say that you should only gank when there's a free kill? Because trust me, there's always gonna be an opportunity, okay? So let's look at Kanavi, okay? Let's just look at what the best players in the world do. Like, I'm just gonna play this a bit faster, but let's just see. And by the way, I've watched a lot of Kanavi. I can tell you, because I don't hear the sound because of the banana meter. So let's look at how Kanavi plays. Kanavi is doing a little full clear. He's just farming, nothing too crazy. There's a fight in the jungle here. So he's going for a fight. This fight doesn't look that good. And he has to flash out here. Okay, sure. Bad fight. Let's now look and proceed and see what he does, okay? He kills them here. He takes the crab. He was moving towards top lane here, but I want you to pay attention to one thing. He's going top lane here, but pay attention to the top lane wave. You see this wave right there? A lot of laners refuse to lose these minions. Honestly, I can tell you, at low elo, high elo, when a wave is like this, laners are almost never backing off and basing and dropping those minions. Laners are extremely greedy. So every single time you see a wave pushing towards you, that means they have to be at least here to last hit. So that's like an opportunity for you to recognize how to get kills, but I'll talk about that in the next topics, okay? But here he bases. Why does he base? Because if he takes this, and then bases, he's not available to punish inters. If he bases right now and then looks for his camps, and let's say mid or top is fighting, he has good items and is ready for a skirmish, okay? That's why he's basing, like that's pretty obvious, nothing too crazy. So he's just farming here. Oh, one thing that's like really nice to see about these players. Pay attention to his threat assessment level. So when I say threat assessment level, what's a threat here? Like rel, Q, and W, right? And I guess beside that, nothing else. So pay attention to his spacing and how he plays fights and how he, before the fight, knows what's a threat and how he plays. Pay attention. Rel uses Q. Rel uses W. He walks back and now fist him. This might seem like something so small, which it is, right? But you'll be surprised if you go for a skirmish, you would probably get hit by something because you're not actively thinking about it. And it's really beautiful to see that. But this is not reaction time. I hope you guys know that. He already knows that Rel has W. And this is something you can practice, but I'll be mostly talking about just like Fullclear ganking, right? But you can see in general though, Kanavi here, after that play, is just full clearing. He's just farming. He's not doing anything. But now he's his top lane. And he thinks Akali needs help. But here's the thing, right? He is essentially not really looking for a gank here, because this is a losing lane state. So a small tip for you guys, what you have to do in a losing lane state, okay? Number one, you have to cover slow pushes, okay? Number two, you want to cover dives. 3, wait for their base. When the lane's losing, you don't want to help them. You want to wait for their base, and then you want to play for them. And this is how you can carry losing lanes. Like a lot of people here would just maybe go Q in, but don't bother, okay? Back off, wait for his base, and chill. But you can see here, he's not really looking for any crazy plays, he's just farming. And one tip as well here that you will learn. Do you see this Aurora HP? But this is a really big tip that I'm gonna give you guys, which is that think from Aurora perspective, okay? Like Aurora, his HP versus Akali HP, like every single laner has big ego. They want to show like big D energy. When they're winning and they know enemy drones around, they will refuse to play safe. Very often if you see a laner winning and this guy's low, this guy wants to hump him. And very often he's just gonna play aggressive. So why is Kanavi going for this gank? And why is he skipping his camps here? Because imagine he does his red buff right now. If he crashes the wave and decides to back off, well, the play's over. So this is the only timing he has to go for this gank, right? So, and you can see that this already, this little boy wants to go really aggro, Aurora. And now he's dead. But that's how very good players recognize ganks as well, okay? So enough about Kanavi. I just explained to you a bit about Fullclear or gank. And hope that makes a bit more sense to you that you almost always want to farm unless you get a free kill. And sometimes you don't have to gank, and I showed you the consequences of it, okay? First things first, some of you guys might not even know what a good gank looks like, okay? So I'll be showing you like a good example and a bad example. But before we get to that, I wrote down a few things, and how can you recognize what's a good gank? So number one, which lanes are volatile? Before the game, you should be able to recognize which lanes are a bit volatile. Depends if it's like melee against melee or range against ranged. This takes experience, but at some point you'll know. How are the wave states? I explained a little bit about wave states, but we'll get more into detail. And the FCC and enough damage, and where are the wards. So I'll show you an example, okay? So I will show you an example of this gank, and I want you guys to see if you guys see what I see, okay? So Rek'Sai here is starting bot side, okay? I'm just gonna play this normally. This is actually very crucial. Pay attention to the minimap. Pay attention to the minimap, okay? And this is a Rek'Sai. You need to look at minimap and see where they put down the wards, just to be sure. Where are the wards, okay? Let's pay attention to that one. And by the way, this happens very often that people don't think about it. And of course, which lane is volatile? Bot lane is low-key volatile. Blitzcrank, Seraphine, Smolder, you know, it's gonna be a fist fight. So look at the minimap. So do you see how Seraphine is missing right now? What is he doing? he's putting a ward, right? And laners are really, really cocky. Like, laners, when they ward this bush, they're like, ho 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 ho, it's my kingdom. I have a ward here, I see everything. As a jungler, you should know where they ward, and you should know how to abuse that. Right now, there was a mistake here. So let's play this replay. You can see here that Rek'Sai now is walking through a river. He didn't notice the ward. And not only that, okay? On top of that, he's actually pinging on the way. Which means that if these laners are starting to walk up right now, and by the way, just saying, think from their POV. They just see a jungler pinging on the way, so they think, oh, I should go in. You should never ping on the way, because if Braum starts walking up, it gets a bit suspicious. Because, well, then he's gonna walk back, and if Rek'Sai cannot land the CC, he's gonna die. But yeah, you can already see here that he pinged, which is wrong. He didn't look at me in map, which is wrong. And he still managed to get a kill. However, if he actually just knew that there was a ward here, he could walk around like this, and then he doesn't even have to ping on the way. You should ping on the way when he wants his laners to walk up, because essentially, I'll explain you guys something. How does a successful gank look like, okay? So, if you want a successful gank, you want enemy to be as deep as possible. Why is that important? That's important because you can deal more damage, because they have to walk all the way from here to the tower. And you want the CC to go first. And why do you want the CC to go first? That is because imagine that Braum's going first, okay? And he's carrying the enemy team away. And now Rek'Sai CCs him here, instead of like here. That's a huge difference. Because the natural thing of laners, when they walk up, is that they will walk back. So that's just something to be thinking about, okay? This is just like how to recognize a good gank, by the way. This is just legit. Look in the wards, look in the waves. The wave is good. And that's how you can get successful ganks off. The things, which lanes volatile, bottom was definitely volatile, wave state, definitely gankable, CC enough damage, yes. Where are the wards? He didn't know about this. So now let's look at this little example here. So how does a good gank look like? I'll now show you guys how a challenger gank looks like, okay? So this is a super high elo. This is basically Labrov. I'll show you how a good gank looks like, okay? So let's look at the conditions first. Which lanes are volatile? Bot lane volatile. I have Alistar. How are the wave states? Good to gank. CC enough damage. Where are the wards? I knew everything. And I'll show you why. Pay attention to minimap. I saw Seraphine walk in his bush here, which means he put down a ward here. So after he put down a ward here, I know that they see that, well, there's a ward here, so they think they're safe. And because I saw the ward, and because I see the wave is bad, I now actually jump behind, and pay attention as well to how I gank. Because essentially, you always want the CC to go in first. We land a spear here, we kill him. So now, I'm gonna show you the enemy POV, okay? What they're seeing. I'll just play this first and look at it. So I'm gonna go soon. Okay, boom, we killed him. So think about it. Imagine I showed first. Imagine that I showed right here, and then he sees Alistar walking up. This guy has one job. Just flash it. But now, because I showed later, and my CC goes first, I actually connect my CC, and I kill him. And the further he is from his tower, the more damage we can deal. And that's why the CC should almost always go first, because you want him to be as deep as possible. So let's say I have a Nautilus, okay, let's have a Nautilus. I want him to go first. If I'm a Rek'Sai, I want my laners to like walk a bit back, and then I go first. But essentially, that's how you want to play ganks, and it's like very good if you know how to do so, you know? And I'll show you guys just another example. So this is more a high elo trick, which is that around 5:30 is the timer that laners get level 6, okay? So this is more about like when to farm, when to gank, but as well like when to gank. So you see this wave right here? This wave is slow pushing towards enemy kill, okay? And I know for a fact that if you have like usually for Nectons, you can easily kill them, same for Garen, but I know that kill is not gonna hit 6 on this wave. Every single time you have like a big wave, unless you can dive the enemy team, especially before the 5:30 wave. You see he barely got 6. You can look for a top lane dive here. Because look at the kill XP. Kill XP is like, he needs like what? 1 cannon minion for level 6? But now you have like level 6 advantage against level 5. and you can kill him. And now, buddy, this gank, this is like this wave plus next wave. This is at least 300 gold. At least. Worth of XP as well. And here's the thing, okay? Now my Garen takes 2 platings. He takes the wave and kills all the farm. And I want you to think about this as well. Here I decided to not take my camps, okay? And why is that? Because if Nocturne matches me on top, he's not farming either. If he doesn't match me, top lane's dead. So this is like a win-win situation anyway. And this is something you can replicate with champs like Renekton, Garen, and as long as they have wave control, this is the wave usually you can punish people. And a simple thing like this can legit win you the game. But hopefully your laner knows how to dive. And then you can like, okay? The ganking secrets in general. I explained to you guys a bit about just cut off their escape path, go for a gank when the enemy goes for last hit, which I didn't explain yet. Ping on the way, and I will explain about this, okay? In general, guys, before a gank, you have to think about, well, are they gankable? You have to look at the wave states, you have to think about can enemy drone be there, and where are the wards. Pay attention to this replay here, and I want you to literally pause, and I want you to think, what was the mistake here? Like, just watch this, and tell me what's the mistake here. And Buddy just saying, of course, a lot of people, and I see the same mistake. Let's just see. He pings now on the way, so, yeah. I mean, we just watch it first, and then we do some analyzing. Okay. Okay, the dying doesn't even matter. So, there are a few mistakes here if you look at this clip, okay? So, what's the first mistake? The first mistake is, so mistake number 1, which is that, 1, he pinged on the way. Like, why is this bad? Especially in low elo. Did you guys ever have games where like your laners are going too fast? That's probably because you are pinging on the way. Don't ping on the way. Your laners have no minimap. They don't see where you are. They see on the way, they think I go. So instead, how should you ping? You should ping only on the way the moment you're very close. You should ping on the way the moment you're like around the corner, about to show. Then you ping on the way, because that's the perfect timing. Because Rek'Sai has CC. So if he goes in first, knocks them up when they're in the middle of the lane, they'll have to walk from here all the way to the tower. And that way, you can deal more damage. That's the first mistake, okay? What's the second mistake? The second mistake is his pathing. Look at his clicks. Think about it. If these guys want to run away, they're going to run this way, right? So he's clicking like this. But essentially, you should almost always try to meet his escape path. Like, always go to where they are going. So you can look at his clicks. He could legit be tunneling here, cutting off their escape path, and he would actually not even have to flash, I think. He could legit just walk a line like this and kill them. So like, this is like very small things that's very crucial for a gank, because very often these small things happen and they die, and yeah, unfortunate, right? So here I'm playing as Nivea, and Buddy, the funny thing is, Buddy, you see this? They actually saw me on the ward, Buddy. They literally saw me on a ward. And but this works in Challenger Elo. In Challenger Elo, this guy sees me on a ward. And he still dies. And even in pro play this happens. It's really crazy, but I'll show you. But okay. So, what are my rules before I go for gank? My general rules is, wait for them to go for last hit. This is very, 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 very important, okay? Laners shouldn't walk up like a donkey. This happens very often, so if you play mid lane, please don't walk up like a donkey, okay? And essentially, why do you want to wait when they go for last hit? Because technically, okay, when they go for a last hit, they don't look minimap. Okay, it's legit humanly impossible to look at minimap when you're going for a last hit. The lower the elo are, the more blind you are. In silver, maybe they're like flashbanged for 2 seconds. They see a juicy minion, they don't look minimap, they see a bit later. Okay, 2 seconds too much, but you get my point. In Challenger, it might take like 0.2 seconds. So every single time they go for a minion, they see something very juicy, and their view is like this. Okay, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, they just look at this. But they don't look at this. This is not existent. That's why you want to go for gank and when they go for last hit. And as you can see, this juicy minion right here, okay, he should, if he's smart, he should take Hero of Q, right? But Syndra is playing very good. He's not making obvious. He's walking back, so he's like, oh, maybe Jarvan's not here. I insta-flash in him. And now, remember how we watched Kanavi? He does like fake movement, you see? Look what I'm doing. It looks as if like I'm walking away. But then I do a U-turn and apply the exact same concept. What do? I wait for last hit. Because that's the moment they're gonna actually walk up. So now I'm looking at which juicy minion is he seeing. And now, goodbye, he's dead. And one thing as well, do you see here, I'm not even pinging on the way. Like, imagine here, okay, let's say I was lower elo, and I ping now on the way. He sees Syndra walking up, this guy starts walking back. That's not what you want. You want him to be as deep as possible, okay? So that's like a bad example versus good example, and yeah. And now I ping on the way when I'm very close. That's like how you have to gank perfectly, and this does not matter what elo you are. This is just how you have to play it, in my opinion, okay? But I'll just show you Anivia POV, so you get a good idea. So now I just ganked him, and now go to the right, and he probably thought I may be left. And you see, he just sees these juicy minions, which is understandable. And now he died. But this is basically how to get successful ganks, and now I'm gonna show you like some pro players example, okay? And if you think about it, this is like some pro play example. This is literally the best players in the world, okay? This is like the GOATs. So just to give you guys context, Poppy just killed Viego, so they literally know that Poppy was there, okay? They literally know that Poppy killed. So pay attention to Fake how he plays. You see how he's like just posturing here? And you see how Caps, by the way, sees this fat, juicy minion. He's like, oh baby, you see that minion right there? Look at how long it takes for him to look minimap. And you can see here that he just sees his juicy minion, and Faker played it super well. He didn't make it that obvious. Caps walked up here. So, honestly, like, these players have ego. They see a minion, they like go. It's very difficult for people to play safe, by the way. So, this is how you have to gank, and here he just gets a flash for free. But then Owner did something interesting and he died, but I'll show another example. So, this is a very good example here as well. So, you see here how Humanoid, pay attention to Humanoid. Humanoid here is walking back. Why is he walking back? I think you guys know the reason, right? He's walking back because this guy's gonna walk up. If he walks forward, he's gonna walk back. Now he eats towards the Azir, he's like And funny thing, by the way, funny thing, they did know that Sejuani was bot side. So this is how we can like psychology, like impact people, and this works in every single rank, okay? Just last example here. Pay attention to Niski, okay? Niski here stayed around the corner, because then his movement is more predictable. Now the arrow comes, now he shows, now he kills him. Okay, that's just a bit about ganking, and this is just how the psychology works, okay? You can actually mind control the enemy team, just so you know. Which is basically how to play for win condition now. So, this is something that 98% of the player base is doing wrong. And I will show you how to do it right. And but even if you're challenger, there are some things that you are not doing, okay? I can promise you this. And if you want to become godlike, I'll show you how now. So basically, the things how you can work on it is that after a kill objective, you have to ask yourself, do you need the base? Clear top to bot if you want to play bot. I'll explain why. And invade enemy quadrant to deny them from killing a win condition. Anyway, guys. So right now, just to be sure here that you guys are on the same page, I just got a kill here, okay? So if you apply the concepts which I mentioned, which is after you get a kill, okay? One, after a kill / objective. You have to think about these things. Well, do I need the base? Then, in general, path top to bot if you play bot. And just so you guys know, why is that? Because, think like this. If you, let's say all my camps are up, okay? And I open bot side first. You want to clear top to bot because if, let's say, there's a bot lane fight, you can skip this, and you can run straight bot lane. You can kill them, you can go back to your farm. If you start from bot side, and then bot lane's fighting, you go bot lane, you will potentially lose your top side camps, and running from bot all the way to top is much further. And that's why you almost always want to start the opposite side to like, 1, not give them a cross map play, 2, be closer to your camps, and well, 3, is legit just like better for your pathing. Because essentially you're pathing towards your laners. You don't want to be doing wolves and then you see your win condition, like fighting till the death. And just saying, usually if you have a win condition, they will play aggressive. They will not think, oh, my jungler is going topside, let's play safe. This does not exist in your laner's brain. When your laners are winning, they are under enemy tower, okay? That's why you want to be at their position as soon as possible. Why is it important that after a kill, this is super crucial, okay? Like, after a kill objective, think what you play for. Like, why is this important? In solo queue, every single laner is gonna ping you. Please gank, please gank, please gank. If you make a game plan and you have decided that your bot lane is your winning condition, you can filter noise. Because what's gonna happen is that you're gonna path towards topside here, and now your top laner, oh, this is so important, if you're pathing topside and you're farming, just ping what enemy jungler can do. Very important. Think about what enemy jungle can do. You have to track enemy jungle. As long as, like, there's two ways to lose the game, okay? Which is number one, early laners are boosted and die 1v1/2v2, okay? Number two, they die to enemy jungle. Usually, in my experience, if your laners are winning, they don't really die anymore, 1v1/2v2. But they actually die to the enemy jungle. So your job, when you're farming, is to track him very well and make sure your laners don't die till you're there, okay? When you have a game plan, and if my top lane or mid lane pings me now, hey, gank my lane, I will now be like, I think playing bot side is more important. Because what happens very often is that mid or top is pinging you, and you're like, oh, maybe I can help. And the moment you help mid lane and you show, maybe enemy jungler can now maybe kill your win condition. And you don't want that. Unless for sure they're fine and you get for sure something mid top, then you should do it. But you need to have like a basic game plan, okay? For example, here I'm farming and I randomly see a Lee Sin ganking mid lane here. So I'm like just looking around and seeing what I can do. So now I got 2 kills, sure. Now I just take some of his camps. I base here because I have 1.2k gold. And I'm making sure that I'm having strong items and I'm ready to play for the next objective. Which is here, Grubs. But as you can see, right, I'm in base and I'm pinging very consistently, hey, careful. Because I know that I want to go for Grubs and he can only go bot side. So I'm making sure he doesn't get anything. And one thing as well regarding pings, which is that you see how I ping? I ping my laner in his face, assistance, then I ping on the way. This is how you want to ping if you want to play for objectives. Because first, what you do actually, okay, is 1, you get their attention. This is super important, you get their attention. Then number 2, you tell them why you want them. So what happens very often is that people are pinging just on the way to this objective, and then they expect their laners to move. Wrong. They will not do that. So ping them in their face and then do the objective, okay? And yes, this works in low elo too, just so you guys know. And of course, I'm just pathing mods here. So now the next thing about the thing that I'm going to tell you regarding how to actually play for win condition, like even for challengers is important, okay? And but you're not going to find any of this content online because this is just something that you require a lot of game knowledge, I guess, which I don't even think is complicated, but I don't see many people, or if at all people do it, unless you're pro play, but this is something you do as well in solo queue. Pay attention to this clip here. My bot lane is 4-0. All my camps are up. My support is now having a good base with warding item. What's my win condition? It's bot lane. So ask yourself these questions. How do I make sure I play around my Wincon? So I want you to pause right now and I want you to think, how would you play this situation right here? Like legit, just I want you to think a bit about this for like 5 seconds. Then I'll explain you the things that I'll be doing. So, well, you do that by invading bot side, right? So I will skip every single camp of mine and I'll invade his bot side. Why is that? And I'll show you like exactly the reasons why this is more important. And you see as well here, I pinged, you probably didn't see it, but I pinged my Nautilus in his face and I pinged here on the way. Like, what did I do? I got his attention, I pinged on the way. So he knows why I'm pinging. So in the end, we end up invading. So just to break it down, to simplify it for you, what does this invade do? This invade gives you a few things, okay? So this invade gives you like these things, which is number 1. It allows you to spot Hecarim and Wincon can't get ganked. Think about it. My AD carry is 4-0. Hecarim now, if I do my red or bot side, he could maybe gank bot lane. And that's not good, okay? This is number 1. So, number 2. I get full control. What does full control give me? This gives me all the information I need to make better decision making. Because now, if he's not showing bot side, he has to be top side. And if he's top side, let's say, like now, I can dive bot because my bot has wave control. And 4, if they take one good trade, enemy bot die. And you force him topside basically, away from a Wincon. By this simple invade here, you're achieving all of these things, and that's like, no joke, you don't lose the game. I literally killed Hecarim, I take his camps, he has to go topside, and now my bot took a good trade, and guess what's gonna happen to him? And now, he's just gonna die. Because now I'm gonna take his camps, I'm gonna go bot side, and I just killed him here. And this is all because of just invading here. And this is why I skip all these camps, and this is the correct way to play for win condition. Because by doing this, like, I allow my bots to play like monkeys. And every single lane that's winning, they will play like monkeys, okay? And this is the correct way to play for win condition. Let's talk a bit about Grubbies, the Grubs. So, this is like a hot topic, which is that when should you do Grubs and when should you not do Grubs? And essentially, right, the way I see it is that you should do Grubs if your ball lane doesn't get over, essentially. Because I mean, look at this. Do you win topside 3v3 Grubs? If yes, can your lanes move first? If, like, no, can a late contest? You can fight, sure. If they can move first, then you have to think, does my bot get dove? If yes, you should go defend. Why is that? Because in my opinion, if your ball lane gets dove and you get the Grubs, that is not worth. That's more than 500 gold you're losing. That is a support roaming in your jungle. Basically, if you're bot linking a dove, it's not worth it to take Grubs, because not only is the enemy support in your face, in your jungle, he's also ganking mid lane, getting full control, and in mid game, after minute 14, they can easily push mid into side lane, so you can't even use the Grubs. So like, in my opinion, if you're botting against dove, Grubs are not worth it. But just a disclaimer, if you're below diamond, this is not as important. But if your laners are like 50% HP, it matters in diamond. Because then they actually know in diamond, okay, we can dive them, okay? But if they're 100%, they don't know how to dive from 100 to 0. But if you're like 50, you should consider covering, okay? So let's talk about a no. Well, if you don't do topside 3v3 Grubs, you can always think, okay, can your bot lane move? If yes, you can still fight if they come. Most of the times, it depends. And if they can't move, then just give right. And once again, I want you to pause. So this is the clip where I killed the kill on top lane, okay? So you see this big fat bot lane wave. Let's look at this. Option A, okay? I run bot side and cover. Option B, I take Grubs. Which one's better? Just so you know, League is like chess, I got something on top. What should I do here? And I want you to think about, if I take the Grubs and my bot lane gets dove here, is this worth it? So let's just play the situation. I mean, in this case, he happened to take the Drake. So he wasn't sure about the dive. But I think a Jhin without summoners, in my opinion, worst case, Rel dies, but they kill my Jhin. You know? I really think if Nocturne was here, and they want to dive him, and Rel wants to sacrifice himself, my Jhin would die here, and he would lose the next wave. But here, you can see that here, I'm deciding to skip the Grubs and hover bot side. Because in my books, after killing top lane, I just have to neutralize the game, make sure he doesn't get anything, and try to let them play again. And now there's a fight, and we just fight. But you can see here that I played to cover, because essentially I really did not want my laners to be dying, right? So you can see in this clip what I'm thinking, and yeah, I can tell you that these Grubs are not worth your laners' lives and playthings. It's just not worth it. I'm sure all of you guys had bot laners where they fall behind and then FF. You know? Like, a bot lane is just such an OP role, and it's disgusting. So, but like I said, if below diamond, laners are above 8% HP, go Grubs. It's fine, guys. Like, I'm telling you, I played in low elo too. If below diamond, they don't know how to dive. But the moment you hit like above master, I would say that you should consider and look at bot lane wave states. And how do you recognize that? If you see a wave like this, you should probably start thinking about if you're bolinking a dove. So this is it about the Grubbies, basically. So just to summarize it, guys, I'll open this one. The mentality, right, which is that you should really focus on yourself and what you can control. Because so often, and even I do this, I'm like, why did my support not do this? And yes, it's really frustrating. And in-game, you can cope a bit. And it doesn't even have to be cope, guys. It can legit be like, true. However, when you review your game, you should think more rational. Could have adapted better. Could have done anything better. Because I can promise you that what's going to happen is that you're going to get into like this very often. And you have to learn how to adapt. If you don't know how to adapt, you will fall victim to, you know, some things. So this is like super important, because if you're actually not good at this, yeah, good luck. Like, you have to be at least a bit aware of what you can work on, okay? And next thing is like basically self-improvement, and I'll be sharing like a document here about self-improvement. Oh, it's not this one. Is this one? It's basically this one. So what I like to do, right, is that I like to kind of track my goals. So before the start of the day, what I really like to do is like think about a few things. I want to have like a clear goal. When I say goal, it's not LP. Just so you guys know, I think when I got my first time rank 1 and rank 2, I can tell you that my goal was not rank 1 and rank 2. My goal was, what do I need to do and work on every single game for me to get to the next level. I had 5 or 10 notes on what I want to work on, and instead of being obsessed with LP, I was obsessed with the mini goals, the standards. Like, I was obsessed with like the process. And if you're obsessed with the process, essentially you will get your goal. So I would highly recommend you to not obsess with the LP. Like, literally, you should be obsessing with the mini goals. So whenever you start your day, you should think about these things, okay? Which is number 1, which is what did I do well yesterday? So why is this important? Because often you're always going to be negative and think about the bad things. However, you should keep on building the right habits and try to get rid of the bad ones. I think a lot of people, the mistake is that they focus only on the bad things. And then, the moment you're going to have a lot of bad games, you will actually forget good things you're doing. And that is really bad. So you should always think, what did I do well yesterday? And you should always keep working on this, okay? To be mindful of it. The next thing is, what did I not do so well? So of course, so basically this is like, you have to think, what did you not do so well? And essentially you want to remind yourself of the things you did not do so well, and you should select now a mini goal, which is, what should I work on today? But I'm just saying, this should be like a weekly goal. Please do not change your goal every single day. Change this goal weekly or something. Because there's no way in one day you're gonna be very consistent on the thing you worked on, okay? And of course, we talked about good ganks, so it's something you can practice. Where are the wards? It's not hard. If you know that, let's say, bot lane is volatile, okay? Let's say you know that a lane is volatile. Well, guess what? Just look at that lane and see if they put wards. To put it simple, you can start by doing this like with one lane. Once you feel comfortable doing it with one lane, start doing it 2 lanes. Once you feel comfortable with 2 lanes, you can start doing it 3 lanes. But usually, in my opinion, 2 maximum. You don't need 3 lanes. If you're preferring top to bot, just look at mid and bot, you know? It's like the simplest thing you can do, okay? And regarding the ganks, I explained to you guys a bit about the clicking and the pinging especially. This pinging is like the biggest bait, okay? And go for when they go for last hit. Because in lower elos, they legit like are flashbanged for like in Iron, they're legit flashbanged for 3 seconds. Like in Challenger, maybe like 0.2. So of course, it's not like you have to gank when they go for last hit. If they step up and up, kill them. You know, don't wait till they go for last hit. Like if they like legit walk up, go. You know, be flexible. Okay? And how to play for condition, honestly, I couldn't really explain everything about base timers because there's a lot more to it. But at least make a basic game plan regarding this, okay? Which is after a kill objective, think about these things. What you play for and when. Jungle track. This gives you a game plan, and this makes you jungle track till he's not there, okay? And then, well, the Grubs I explained to you, but just don't do them if you're botting and stuff. Just look at lanes and think if you win 3v3. If yes, then you can do them, right? And that is pretty much it. Have a good one and have a nice evening, and adios, peace, and good night. Ciao, ciao.